Hello and welcome to a gear shootout with me and Jay. Today we are looking at the Boss Power Stack and the Joyo Uzi. Boss Power Stack and the Joyo Uzi are both pedals that are designed to try and emulate the sound of big stacked amplifiers. Power Stack very specifically is kind of the Marshall-y sound. The Uzi is Marshall going into Mesa Boogie, depending on how you get it set up, which I'll talk about in a bit. But first off, what I want to do is just compare them side by side. So the clip you're going to see now for the next few minutes is me just playing a loop through both pedals, switching between them, playing with the settings, and then we'll have a chat about them afterwards. So, on to the sounds. So that's what they sound like. Let's just talk about the pedals for a second. So the Power Stack has level, bass, and treble, and it has kind of a gain control that's labeled crunch, drive, and ultra. So going from kind of just a bluesy crunch sound up to a slightly more, I don't know, 70s driven sound, all the way up to a much higher gain, kind of slash type sound, maybe a bit heavier. Obviously, it's a Boss pedal, so it's well made, built like a tank. Has a battery compartment as well, which is quite useful. And is a really, really solid kind of Marshall sound. Now, the Uzi from Joyo is slightly different and has a few more features. Now, the first thing that it has is this bias control, which you saw me playing with. Now, the bias control sweeps between kind of the tighter scooped kind of Mesa sound across when you're all the way on the left to all the way on the right, which gives you that kind of Marshall-y sound, bit more open. What it also has is a mid control, so you get a full treble, bass and mid EQ, which I think is really great and gives you loads of flexibility when you combine it with the EQ sweep on the bias as well. Another really cool feature of this is the way it lights up. It sounds really daft, but as well as having the light in the middle, it also has lights at both ends. I'll show you on the screen now, but these light up. And with a little switch on the back, you can change whether that's on just when you press the button, or if it's on all the time, or if it's permanently off. And the reason that's really useful is when it's on your pedal board, you can see where this pedal is when it's dark. And for me, that's really useful because this is kind of the last pedal that I switch on when I'm doing stuff, and knowing where it is quickly is really handy. Couple of things that I don't like about this one, just very quickly. I really don't like the knobs. They're very, compared to how solid the rest of this is, these are really cheap and nasty, and I probably will change them. Another thing is no battery, but it is smaller. You know, it's significantly smaller actually when you look at depth. Same width, so it takes up the same amount of space kind of on your pedal board, but just it's a slightly smaller profile. So what do I think? Well, I prefer the Joyo Uzi. It's more flexible, it does everything that the Power Stack does, and more. So for me, this is what's going on my board, and it's going to replace my Mua Ultra Drive, which is like a Boss DS1 clone. That doesn't mean this is a bad pedal. This is an incredibly good pedal, in fact. And I'd love to hear in the comments about people using this pedal because, you know, for what it does, it's incredibly good. The other thing to consider, though, is that this is £50 and this is about 100. I think this was 50 on eBay, but 100 new. So cost for cost, I think this also wins out. Like I said, I don't like the control knobs at the top here. I think they're cheap and horrible, and I would have loved to have seen a battery compartment in this, but they're minor things compared to the amount of tones I get from this. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought. Any other Joyos I should be looking at? I hear the Tai Chi, the Zen Drive clone is really, really good, and the rest of the Revolution series is getting amazing reviews. So do let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you to everybody who has. It's amazing. Hit like, hit the bell, and if you are feeling very generous, I'd love you to check out the Patreon page, just because most of the time these aren't free, and it's not the cheapest hobby to be reviewing pedals. But anyway, until next time, I shall see you soon. Cheers, guys.